to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call. Holovic,
Here.
Coburn,
Here.
Boletta,
Here.
Jeffries. Here. Light.
Here.
Ostermeyer.
Here.
Murphy.
Here. Moving on to section 2.04, the approval of the agenda. Can I get a motion to approve tonight's agenda in open session?
I approve Jeffries.
Second, below.
Boletta,
Yes.
Coburn,
Yes.
Jeffries.
Yes.
Holovic,
Yes.
Light,
Yes.
Ostermeyer,
Yes.
Murphy.
Yes. Moving on to section 3.01, minutes from closed session of August 27th, 2025. Can I get a motion to approve those minutes from closed session?
Motion below.
Second, Ostermeyer.
Boletta,
Yes.
Coburn,
Yes.
Jeffries.
Yes.
Holovic,
Yes.
Light,
Yes.
Ostermeyer,
Yes.
Murphy.
Yes. Moving on to section 3.02, termination of an employee. It is the recommendation of administration to dismiss Jeffrey Cottingham, a bus driver, during his 90-day probationary period in accordance with board policy. Do I have a motion to accept the termination of this employee?
I'll make a motion. Brett?
Second, Kobe.
Boletta,
Yes.
Coburn,
Yes.
Jeffries.
Yes.
Holovic,
Yes.
Light,
Yes.
Ostermeyer,
Yes.
Murphy.
Yes. Moving on to section 4, communications, 4.01. This is a citizen's opportunity or visitors to address the school board concerning any of our agenda topics tonight. Seeing none, we will move on to item 5, our consent agenda. Can I get a motion to approve our consent agenda items as presented, or is there any further discussion or comments on these items before we approve them?
So move, Kobe.
Second, Jeffries.
Boletta,
Yes.
Coburn,
Yes.
Jeffries.
Yes.
Holovic,
Yes.
Light,
Yes.
Ostermeyer,
Yes.
Murphy.
Yes. Moving on to section 6, personnel consent agenda items. Did anybody have any discussions, comments, or concern about any of the items that we're about to approve under consent agenda item 6? Hearing none, can I get an approval to move forward?
Make a motion below.
Second, Jeffries.
Boletta,
Yes.
Coburn,
Yes.
Jeffries.
Yes.
Holovic,
Yes.
Light,
Yes.
Ostermeyer,
Yes.
Murphy.
Yes. Moving on to section 7, 7.01. This is our opportunity to open our formal FY26 budget hearing. Wendy is here to answer any questions that the audience may have about our budget and our proposed budget for the FY26 year. So at this time, we're gonna open it up, or I need an action item, so I need to request an approval to open the budget hearing item.
I'll make a motion, Brent.
Second, Kobe.
Boletta,
Yes.
Coburn,
Yes.
Jeffries.
Yes.
Holovic,
Yes.
Light,
Yes.
Ostermeyer,
Yes.
Murphy.
Yes. Any questions? Wendy, did you have anything you wanted to share with us beforehand?
Nothing has changed since last month's presentation.
Okay. Seeing no questions, we'll move on to 7.02, which is the close of the budget hearing. Can I get a motion to approve closing the FY26 budget hearing?
I move Jeffries.
Second, Kobe.
Boletta,
Yes.
Coburn,
Yes.
Jeffries.
Yes.
Holovic,
Yes.
Light,
Yes.
Ostermeyer,
Yes.
Murphy.
Yes. Section 7.03, it is the recommendation of the board to approve this resolution and the FY26 budget as presented and submitted to ISBE. Can I get a motion to approve this year's budget?
Motion
Oh, I did.
to approve, Light.
So move, Kobe.
you get that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Boletta,
Yes.
Coburn,
Yes.
Jeffries.
Yes.
Colvick,
Yes.
White,
Yes.
Ostermeyer,
Yes.
Murphy.
Yes.
Yeah, it was out of consent.
Okay.
So, item 8.1 is a compensation adjustment for Samantha Maxwell, hired as the GMS head softball coach on July 23rd. The rate identified and quoted at the time and voted on previously was incorrect based on years of experience, so it is a recommendation to correct the stipend to $3,375,000 for the 25-26 contract year.
Does anyone have any questions or concerns or comments? Can I get a motion to approve the adjusted compensation?
What did I say?
$3,375.
Yes, much more than that.
Oh, I'm sorry. How about I learned to read numbers? 3,375. I stand corrected.
It looks like it's an increase of $375 from what was originally quoted, correct, because of years' experience?
Yes,
Okay.
sorry.
So move, Coburn.
Second, Ostermeyer.
Boletta,
Yes.
Coburn,
Yes.
Jeffries,
Yes.
Colvick,
Yes.
White,
Yes.
Ostermeyer,
Yes.
Murphy.
Yes. Moving on to section 8.02, it's the second reading of press policies. The policy committee reviewed these policies on August 4th. We had our first release of them last meeting, so this is an action item to approve these policies for the upcoming year. Can I get a motion to approve?
I make a motion, Brent.
Second, Boletta.
Boletta,
Yes.
Coburn,
Yes.
Jeffries.
Yes.
Colvick,
Yes.
Light,
Yes.
Ostermeyer,
Yes.
Murphy.
Yes. Moving on to section 9, communications, 9.01. I believe we have our auditors on the phone, or no, on video.
Yes.
Perfect, so they will present the findings of our FY '25 audit.
Hi, everybody. My name is Kate Moulton, and I'm with Mack and Associates. And I wanted to go through a couple of items on the audit. First off, on pages 1 through 3, we have the independent auditor's report. Because the district reports on a regulatory basis, we provide a dual opinion on the financial statement. On the regulatory basis of accounting, which is the basis used by a significant amount of the districts of the state of Illinois, we have a modified opinion. This means that the financial statements are fairly presented with all, without material misstatements. Basically, this is the highest level of opinion that you can receive on a regulatory basis. Following that, we have an adverse opinion on the United States Generally Accepted Accounting Principle. And this is adverse because the financial statements presented in the audit report are not based on GAAP. This means we do not have full receivables, payables, payroll liabilities, and that sort of thing. So the reason for the dual opinion is simply so that the readers of financial statements are clear on what is being presented and that they're aware that these financial statements are on a regulatory basis, because it does look fairly different than a lot of the other governmental audit reports that you will see that are not school districts or on a regulatory basis. On page 4 and 5, we have the statements of assets, liabilities, and fund balances arising from cash transactions. This is essentially a snapshot of the assets and liabilities that the district has as of June 30th, 2025. The total assets for the district were $238,670,000. $303,209. This consists of, cash investments and the fixed assets of the district that are, not net of depreciation. These are the historical cost of those capital assets. The total liabilities of the district are $20,960,559, and this consists of some payroll liabilities, amounts due to other organizations, and the long-term debt payable. The amount due to other organizations is a new balance sheet item this year. Due to the tragedy that affected the district, there was a custodial fund that was added during the year for donations. The district is holding those funds in a custodial capacity and will pay those out when it is determined who that money is to go to. So we're showing that amount as liability because it's not truly the district's cash that the district is holding for others. So that's something a little bit different this year that I just want to point out, is that we have this custodial fund. And this will probably not be in the audit, as the district intends to pay out those cash balances and donations in fiscal year 26. The total fund balance of the district is $217,712,650. And if you look at the column comparing it to net last year, that is up from $208 million the prior year. On page 6 and 7, we have the statements of revenues received, expenditures dispersed, and other financing sources. The total revenues for the district are $75,227,189. The total expenditures dispersed were $74,093,455. There were bond proceeds for the year of $1,630,000, and there were related bond costs of $37,495. This results in an increase in fund balance of $2.7 million. And then the next thing I would like to point out to you is on page 33, we have our schedule of the general fixed assets of the district. As I had mentioned in the front statement, we have those on the balance sheet. This note shows the balances at the beginning of the year, the additions, deletions, and the balances as of June 30th, 2025. And one item I would like to note is that in the construction in progress line, we're showing a fairly substantial deletion of $4 million. This is largely due to the money that was spent on the remodel of the admin building. And when we show it in the deletion in construction in progress, it is because it is moved into the depreciable capital asset. At the bottom of the note, we also have a discussion of what the significant assets were for the current year. On page 34 and 34 through 37, we have our note disclosures on the long-term debt obligations. We show each of the individual obligations with balance at the beginning of the year, the increases, decreases, balance at the end of the year, and then the amount due for fiscal year 26. We also have the terms of each of these bond issuance to show the interest rates and repayment schedules and that sort of thing. During the year, the district expended more than $750,000 of federal funds and was required to have a school audit. We did not have any findings on the audit, so that was clean. In terms of audit findings, we did not do any significant deficiencies or material weaknesses. So all in all, the audit for the year ended June 30th, 2025 was very clean. Those are the points I wanted to go over, but if you have any questions, I would be happy to go over those.
Yeah, I got one question. You just stated earlier that you had an opinion, an adverse opinion, after you gave the first opinion of the financial statements being reasonably presented. Then you gave the second opinion of an adverse opinion. Can you explain that to me a little more about the opinion?
Sure. So because the school district is regulatory basis, and that means on the balance sheet and statement of revenues and expenditures, we show each of the individual funds, and we do not show a governmental-wide financial statement. So there are, if we were presenting on the GAAP basis, we would have to show the audit on a full accrual basis. Because we are not showing that, we issue an adverse opinion based on GAAP. What that means is simply that these financial statements are not on the GAAP basis. We do not show the full accrual. However, on the regulatory basis, we have an unqualified opinion.
So the opinion that you had that we are operating inside of the generally accepted accounting principles. So the adverse opinion was basically because it wasn't a presentation for GAAP for regulation? Is that what I'm hearing?
It was, the audit report is not GAAP, which is not something that the Illinois State Board of Education requires. So the financial statements are presented in accordance with a regulatory basis, and that is why we have that dual opinion.
Okay. And this is the last question. On page 33, you said that there was $4 million in deletions. And is it footnoted anywhere specifically? Because you're explaining it to me, but I can't see the footnote.
Well, in the footnote, we show the line item for construction in progress. And as of June 30th, 2024, there was $4,050,000 of construction in progress on the administration building. When that building was completed in fiscal year 25, that amount was pulled out of construction in progress and added to the building and, the site improvement and infrastructure line item. So if you were to look at depreciable capital assets, we have an addition of $4.7 million. $4,050,000 of that was the construction in progress that was paid in the previous year. And the reason that we're doing this is because the construction in progress is not depreciated. So we are moving it out of that line into the depreciable assets.
Okay, I understand that. It took a little explaining, but could that be noted a little bit clearer for as far as transparency purposes? Maybe a footnote or further explanation? Because that was kind of...
Absolutely. I will make a note to increase the explanation of that to the footnote in the future.
Okay, thank you very much.
Does anybody else have any questions for Kate at this time? Okay. This is just presentation purposes. I do want to state that, and Kate, correct me if I'm wrong, it looked as if in your opinion letter that our staff did a tremendous job working with you guys and providing you with all the information that helped through it. So Wendy, thank you. Very nice job, you and your entire staff. Correct me if I'm wrong, Kate. This is putting you on the spot right now, right?
Oh, no, you are not wrong. Wendy and the rest of the financial staff are excellent to work with. They did a great job getting prepared for the audit and having everything ready to go for us. And we always appreciate the organization and the effort. And we have a clean opinion, and we did not have any findings, which is great. That's always what we want to see.
All right, hey, thank you very much, Kate, appreciate you calling in.
Not a problem. Have a good evening, and we'll see you next year.
All right, moving on to section 9.02. Caitlin is here to give us an annual update on the athletic department.
All right, starting off just numbers, and on that slide you'll see our roster numbers and unduplicated athletes and roster spots for 24-25. Basically what that means is unduplicated athletes, so that is just the number of student athletes in the school. The roster spots would be if they were multi-sport athletes, we're still counting them as one human, but they are also on 2 to 3 different rosters. So that's why those numbers look like that. Just to point out a couple of numbers, we are up 19 unduplicated female athletes at the high school from last year, or from 23-24 to 24-25. We're up 19 females at the high school, and then we're up 18 males at the high school. So those are significant improvements for both genders. So we're constantly finding more ways to get more student athletes involved, whether that's multi-sport athletes or someone just new to a sport joining a roster. We've seen an increase in track, cross country, wrestling, a lot of those sports that you might be new to, that you want to kind of figure out where your place is. So I credit the middle school coaches to that. They have huge rosters and they manage it so well, which helps bring them into the high school. Go next slide. Academics, this is a big one for us. Work very closely with the counseling office and Mr. Kai's. So the first one is all the all-conference selections. You can see a 3.6 unweighted GPA. The one that we track the most frequently is our honest game core GPA, which is has to do with college athletics and stuff like that. But you can see that we're up on the core GPA. We were a 3.4 last year, which is huge increase from the prior year. And one of the things that we're most proud of still is we are declining in weekly eligibility numbers. So you can see that from when I started to now, we're down 20 students. So our weekly eligibility is getting lower and lower. Not as many kids are sitting out because of their grades, which means our counseling office is doing their job, our tutoring centers are working, our teacher hours in the morning, their office hours, all of that stuff is working, and the kids are getting the resources that they need and what our district is providing. This is just little highlights, state placers, small successes over the year. Go ahead. I can get more in depth in that later if you need me to, but obviously exciting. Go. Yeah, you're good. There we go. Budget. Obviously working very closely with Wendy on the budget. Going back to the importance of needs and wants and what the district provides, which is a baseline funding for teams. So no team is at a disadvantage because of their size. We always look at equity, proportionality, all of that good stuff when we're talking about the budget and what the district provides, what the boosters provides, and what fundraising provides. Uniform rotation, we do, so most sports are on a 4-year uniform rotation, which is offset every 2 years for home and away. So every 2 years, you could technically say a sport team is getting a jersey, but it's cycling out a 4-year jersey. There are other sports that are on a 1 or 2 year cycles based on the competitions, the fabric. I mean, it's obviously wear and tear, how often they're wearing their jerseys. Obviously, a football jersey is built way differently than a tennis tank top. So sometimes those get used a lot more, that we might have to replace them. There are other uniforms that are personalized to someone's body, like a swimsuit, volleyball spandex, stuff like that, where we're not collecting those every year. Those are for the individuals, so they might get swim caps every year to offset them paying for a specialized swimsuit. The budget, we increased middle school last year. That was one of our big initiatives, is making sure middle school have what they need. Next year, we're going to zero-based budgeting. Wendy and I are working on that together so it's gonna change for our coaches drastically, so if they've been here for a while, it's gonna be a culture shock. So basically, they're gonna submit their requests year to year, and it's going to fit into the larger puzzle. So why I like this, and this is what I came from at my previous institution, but you have the flexibility year to year to request different things. So let's say football needs something big this year, but next year they don't, but tennis does. So it's giving us that room to be a little bit more flexible sport to sport to help out with different needs, instead of just saying, you have X amount of money, spend X amount of money, but stay within your budget. So it is giving us a little bit of more wiggle room to work within the whole picture of the athletic budget for equipment. One of the hurdles that we're running into is the overall rising cost of officials, which is increasing every year. Obviously, inflation is killing our equipment budget. Just to give you an example, 2 years ago, basketballs went up $20 per ball. IHSA also went to a different basketball. So instead of replacing a couple balls, we had to replace 15, 20, so our varsity kids could actually practice with their game ball. And now we're cycling out, making sure that we're on the same page for the lower levels too. But that's a significant cost when you're thinking about $120 per basketball. And I mean, that was $4,000 I think we spent just on girls and boys basketball, because of a change with IHSA. So just small things like that add up over time. 85% of our budget is salaries, event workers, officials, and entry fees. So I know everyone likes to say that we have money for equipment, but the reality is most of our athletic budget goes to personnel. And we can't play games unless we have the personnel to do it. So just being transparent with all of that. What the boosters does, they help offset a lot of the wants. So a want is enhancing the program. It's something that you don't necessarily need for your program to operate your sport, but it's an above and beyond purchase for the benefit of the program. So I put a couple examples up there. The basketball shooting gun, Go Route football software. I know some of you might be familiar with that, but it's a way more efficient way to run a practice and get through all of that stuff. Batting cage shell, pitching machines, a huddle soccer camera that they can take on the road with them, stuff like that. And put a plug in for boosters. The concessions are our largest source of revenue, so anytime anyone wants to help out with that, get a hold of me. Is that the last slide? Okay. Any questions on any of that stuff? I can go into more detail if I need to.
Have any questions for Caitlin? Caitlin, I just have a few just for transparency.
For sure.
You talk about fundraising budget, boosters, and everything else. Can you tell us like what your role is with the boosters and like how you interact with them?
Yeah, so I am at an advisor role for the boosters. We have a booster board that operates separately from me. The only thing I do is assist when needed, and advise on coaches' equipment requests. At the end of the day, it's their money, they have the final say, but they do consult my opinion on a lot of it. And then the other part of it is, if I need to run a concession stand or stock coolers or any of that kind of stuff, they text me and I get it done, so. But that's my role with boosters.
Yeah, and there's been some miscommunication, I think, that's out there in the past that funds with the school, and the school derives that and has input. So like, just want to confirm that is a separate account the boosters have access to, and then they, as deem and disperse from that as they see fit at that point in time.
Yeah, my name is not on that bank account. I have no access to those funds. They have a form that coaches fill out, that I don't get those responses, so I have, whatever they ask me, my opinion, I give it, but at the end of the day, it is their money.
Second, we talk about fundraising in here too. Can you kind of explain to us I remember us having a conversation when you got here and everybody was testing you, and all these fundraisers were coming in from all over the place because nobody had a chance to say no at that point.
Right.
Because you and Becca were actually new at the exact same time.
Yeah.
So just explain to us like how somebody goes about doing a fundraiser, what guardrails you kind of have in place for those situations.
Yeah, so in coordination with boosters, we came up with this, I think 2 years ago, that every team gets one big in-season fundraiser. What that means to them is up to them. They present their fundraising idea to me. If we need to tweak a couple things to make it make sense, we do. But I leave that up to them as experts in what they need, and how much they need to fundraise. So teams with larger rosters naturally are going to raise more money. They have more kids, they have more participation. So I would expect football or track to raise a lot more money than, say, a golf team of 12 kids. Just the access, if you ran the same exact fundraiser, that's just what is naturally going to happen. And you can't fault a team for that. That's why the district provides the baseline of what is necessary for their sport. It's important to balance the expectations of it. You always hear that certain sports raise more money, but having the conversations and making sure that people know that that's how it's going to happen. Smaller rosters can get more creative. I've seen a lot of different ways to do it, whether you're selling blankets, which more community members might want, or wrestling is going to do a weight class sponsorship this year. So you can have a business sponsor a weight class. So that might generate a lot more funds than what they've been used to in the past. That's another creative way that they're going to reach out into the community and parents and family members. So I'm interested to see how that fundraising effort works for them.
Yeah, I think you do a great job putting in here how important the fundraising side is, because our parents ask us, well, we pay the student athletic fee and everything else. Why do we have to do this? And we're showing right now that it's because we don't have the funds necessary to be able to support that outside of what you said is the core needs to actually be able to run the program. So a thought I have, because my wife's been involved in boosters, we've known so many people in the boosters, is they have been doing a phenomenal job.
Absolutely.
Really good job. I mean, I would say that maybe the thing that to look at with the boosters is maybe trying to find something that they really sink their teeth into is what they are all about, as opposed to, we'll just take, recommendations from coaches when they come in, have more of a purpose or set, because I know we both come from the world of college athletics too in our previous employment. In order to get access to be able to sell the concessions at those sports, they'd have to give a certain percentage of it back.
Yep.
So, with the boosters, something to talk about if they want to really sink their teeth into something that's really concrete and supports all of them, or do they want to just go ahead and give a certain amount back so you can use that, unilaterally across all the sports for just.
Yeah, I will touch on that. So with our previous board, we actually had this discussion, and what we came up with that we're still doing now with the new board. So football games, and it's open to any group, not just athletics. A speech was in there the other day with me, But if you work a football game, you get $500 back to your program. If you work 5 smaller athletic events, volleyball, soccer, basketball, each of one of those is worth $100 back to your program. So we usually try and group them in 5s and just keep it at $500. But that's another easy way that they can raise funds to their program while giving back to the community and understanding it does take a village to run our whole program. So that's huge. That's been a huge help for us, having consistency. A lot of these kids have done it since they were freshmen. They understand how to work a concession stand. They understand how to make a pretzel or hot dog rollers, make popcorn, stuff like that. So it's been kind of fun to see. Now they're seniors and they can run it by themselves. Obviously, we have adults in there, but I mean, when the kids know how to do it, you kind of let them run with it and just supervise them. But that has been a huge help for concessions.
And I gotta brag on Caitlin before I let her go too, so I mean.
She's awesome, right?
Well, if you look at the success our programs have had, I don't think there's anybody in our area that has the success across the board that we have. I mean, there's so many of our teams that have qualified for state the last few years. There's different teams, qualifiers in, you know, wrestling and swimming and diving and tennis and golf, whatever you wanna call it, like, it's all over the place, and our kids are doing it at pretty much the highest class level in most situations that the state allows. So it's really unbelievable, actually, and what caused me to run for the board several years ago is I did not think that this department in this area of our school was going in the right direction. And I didn't like it. And so that has been awesome to see Caitlin come in and fix these things, right? Like, she's not only fixed some of the things we're not doing, but now you're seeing the kids even excelling even more than they were, despite the lack of poor leadership that was going on in decision-making that was there. So the only thing I will test you with is don't get satisfied, right? Like, we can still be even better, you know? Like, you know me, the thing that drives me absolutely insane about all this is the jersey rotation. Like,
Yep.
fix that for me.
Yep.
I want our kids to display themselves and us to display our kids is what the way that we should, you know, and try to figure out just creative ways to do that where we're always putting our best foot forward for our kids, because and just bring ideas to us how to do that, you know.
Yeah,
So.
I'll give you an example. So last year we piloted a new jersey rotation with middle school volleyball. Instead of just buying 8th grade, we bought the same jersey 6th through 8th grade, all different sizes. The numbers went up to 60, so we will get complaints that you don't have the number in my size. I'm good with that. But we were able to correctly size 6th graders to 8th graders. They all had the same jersey. We wanted to try it. We had a little extra funding to see how it would work. We had great feedback on it. We had the little 6th graders with the extra smalls.
Yeah.
We had some of the 8th graders with jerseys that actually fit them. So moving forward, we will probably budget like that, especially for the middle school.
Yeah.
They range so far from, I mean, with wrestlers we have 5th graders, so very different body types and growth spurts and all of that. So that was one idea that we piloted last year to see how it would work, and we liked
fantastic. So, because that's what we've always heard is, well, we buy the varsity team the new jerseys and the JV gets it, and you got an 18-year-old versus a 14-year-old, and it just
Yep.
doesn't work that way.
Yep,
you know?
and we picked middle school because of the drastic difference in body sizes and types. So we'll probably keep that up, especially at the middle school.
Can I make one point?
Yeah, absolutely.
So, I think you touched upon it, but I wanna emphasize, a little bit, and you explained it in the basketball situation, but continuously, we have to adhere to mandates that are coming down from IHSA.
Yep.
Which are absolutely targeting our budget despite our plans, because these things are happening sometimes with a 6-month turnaround for the next year.
Mhm.
So basketballs, the shot clock, so, is coming. So these are huge expenditures that are not within our control, that it's important for people to understand that we have to navigate those as well.
Yep, and the shot clock is a great point. We put those in this summer, making sure that we were ahead of the game, knowing that there's probably gonna be a backlog next summer before it starts. But that's just another body that we're gonna have to hire for the table. So that's another $100 per night that is going to operating expenses, with that 85% that is already going to just staffing needs that doesn't even have to do with the actual playing of the sport.
That's the biggest misconception that's out there, is that we have all this money that we can provide the different sports to get everything that they need, and it's just, we actually, Brent and I looked at it with Wendy's help in finance, and we just did a overview of it. It actually comes down to 95%.
95%.
When you add in transportation and things like that. I mean, the basics you gotta get a team there, you gotta put them in a jersey, you gotta have people working the shot clock, and that's it. Like, that's all we're paying for, and we're barely breaking even at that point in time.
Yep.
So, us as a board will have to get creative on how we continue to keep funding that, so.
Where do you find the biggest like needs in the sports program overall? Like things for improvement, not necessarily from like winning everything, but like things that you need like that we need to improve on. Is it and obviously facilities sometimes, but like is there stuff that people don't think of?
I mean, I would say we do well with what we have. I mean, there's always room for improvement. I think facilities sometimes are a hurdle. And that's, I mean, we have the 10-year plan with that we're slowly checking off the list, but I think that's probably my biggest hurdle, is just space. Whether that, I mean, that's just storage as well. Like, our East Gym is storing mats, so we can't use half of it. Our weight room, we have over half the school requesting strength and conditioning now. Our weight room has not changed in size since it was built. That's a hurdle that we overcome every day. We just get creative with it. We just obviously redid the softball, baseball dugouts at the school. We're getting turf at the park. Our tennis fences, like stuff like that, where yes, we do well with what we have. We are super successful, but those little things affect practices, like stuff like that, where you're constantly chasing balls, you're not getting enough reps in. So those are the things that I want to focus on. And is there a way that I can raise funds to help some of that? That's probably my biggest.
Yeah, that's something I would be kind of like Ryan's point is I'd be real interested from like your feedback from people that are out there, like what are things in their specific areas that obviously like the dugout's falling apart, that's one thing, but like
Right.
things that people don't think about as we think of, facilities improvements over the upcoming year, like what do we really need? Like what are our people seeing? Like if it's not, we think of like if buildings need roofs and stuff, but what are some of the things that we really not necessarily want or need that could really take us to like a district that all the other districts want to kind of strive to?
Yeah, and I
To
would
be the gold standard
Yeah,
in a sense.
I would love to
You can say
collaborate.
that dirty word, field house, you can say it, it's okay.
I would love to collaborate with our community on the needs
We're
the needs of
getting the setup, yeah, so.
Yeah, collaboration with the community and the school board. I'm all
Yes.
in on having those conversations moving forward.
Oh, well, thank you very much. Anybody else have anything, Caitlin?
Keep up the good work.
You're amazing.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
All right, moving on to section 9.04. This is the citizens' opportunity to address the school board concerning any topic.
Dates.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, sorry. 9.03, future board meeting dates. Those are all posted out there in terms of facilities, grounds, finance, and our next regular board meeting on Wednesday, October 22nd. Again, that's informational purposes at all. Go back to 9.04. Does anybody have anything they'd like to address the school board regarding any topic tonight? Didn't see a sign in, so I think we're good. Moving on to section 10, adjournment. Can I get a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion, Brent.
Second, Colbert.
All in favor?
Aye.
Yes.
Aye.
Thank you.